This involves you, perhaps. Aspiring donut maker Blake Lively is arguing that Justin Baldoni is bad for all women. Hello, my fam. Perez Hilton here, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything It Ends With Us saga. As many of you know, Blakey Crocker filed a lawsuit against her co-star and director in the movie It Ends With Us, Justin Baldoni, back in December. And because Blake Smollett sued him, he then countersued her back. However, as I shared with you all previously, the Never With Teeth icon submitted a motion to the court to be dismissed from the lawsuit. His lawsuit. And yesterday, Baldoni's team filed a response to her motion to be dismissed. They argued that the yummy chanteuse was not protected by this Me Too law that prohibits someone accusing another person of sexual harassment of being sued. The Protecting Survivors from Weaponized Defamation Lawsuits Act, which was put in place in 2023. The law was put into effect to protect victims of sexual harassment or abuse who speak up and then are subjected to lawsuits of defamation as retaliation. It not only gives them immunity, but if they win, they can also claim attorney fees and damages. However, Team Baldoni claims that that is not applicable here because Delulu Lively fabricated the allegations against him, and that the law only applies to claims with a, quote, reasonable basis, and Pinocchio knew that what she was sharing publicly and privately were lies, and the law only applies to situations where the statements are made without malice. He argues that the hair care professional acted with malice. And then they took it a step even further, arguing that the wife of Scarlett Johansson's ex-husband, together with him, were trying to use their power to silence him. His lawyer said in a statement, "Miss Lively and her circle of Hollywood elites cannot prevent my clients from exercising their constitutional right to petition the court to clear their names from her false and harmful claims. The right protects not only Mr. Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties in this particular case, but all Americans in the future who have false accusations levied against them and seek relief from our justice system. This must stop here, and we will continue to fight against this blatant attempt to block access to the court system and to weaken our nation's constitution to serve those who are in positions of power." Well, the former keeper of dragons was not here for that. And she's got a lot to say. She's angry. Angry not just for her, but for women everywhere. In a new statement released just a little bit ago, a lawyer for Betty Buzzkill says, quote, "Baldoni, Sarowitz, and the rest of the Wayfarer parties are now arguing that nobody should be protected by the sexual harassment privilege." Pause. That's not what they said. What they said was that those who are the victims of false allegations of sexual harassment have a right to defend themselves in the court system. That is what they said. But the Cherokee Queen says, blah, 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 are now arguing that nobody should be protected by the sexual harassment privilege. They're not just saying that it doesn't apply to Miss Lively. They're saying it's unconstitutional and no woman should ever have these protections. That's not what they said. That's right. Justin Baldoni, the man who has built his brand on supposedly speaking up for victims, believes that the First Amendment rights of victims of sexual assault and harassment to speak out should give way to the rights of perpetrators to sue their victims into oblivion. These defendants are so hell-bent on trying to destroy Blake Lively that they are willing to shred a law designed to protect all victims just to make sure they bury one. Well, Fake Lively's team needs to prove in court that she is a victim, needs to prove with receipts, corroborating testimony from witnesses, and without a reasonable doubt that she is telling the truth and he is lying. That has not happened yet. In fact, the opposite has happened. In his amended complaint, he provided receipts, proof, literal timeline. And in his response, Baldoni's attorney has said they've gathered even more receipts, proof, timeline, now that the discovery process has begun. Ooh! I can't wait to see what additional proof he has. And the real bad news for the Woody Allen apologist and Dick pool is that they gambled and lost. If it were not for the billionaire co-founder of his studio who is paying all of the legal bills, Justin Baldoni would have 99% folded and caved in to the power couple's demands. He would have released that statement apologizing for wrongdoing that he didn't do, and his career would have been basically over. And even though social media is on his side, his attorney has said that his career has suffered as a result of the smear campaign against him. And because of the sum totality of all that, his attorney, Brian Friedman, who is also my lawyer and has not given me any information, has not influenced me, has not given me, I'm actually really mad. He's not offered to give me a discount or given me a discount. He's not cheap. Brian Friedman has said that Justin Baldoni will not settle. Because more often than not, in disputes like this, the parties settle. But there will be no settling here, and this saga is going to continue at least until March of 2026, when Judge Lyman has set the trial to begin. So, what do you think of the Nepo baby's spin that Justin Baldoni is harming all women? Let's discuss that and everything else, anything, in the comments section. See you there. Thank you for your support. I love you. I appreciate you. I send you a big hug.